How many times have you heard that hard work is the key to success? That if you grind long enough, wake up earlier, and outwork everyone, you'll make it. But if that were true, wouldn't the hardest workers be the wealthiest? Wouldn't construction workers, janitors, and single parents working multiple jobs be living in mansions? But they're not, because effort alone doesn't equal success. Think about it. Effort without direction is like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. If you're putting in the hours but still struggling, there's a reason. Today, we're going to break that cycle. We're going to uncover the real blueprint to wealth, the mindset shifts, the strategic moves, and the smart decisions that separate those who just work hard from those who actually build wealth. If you're ready to escape the endless grind, to stop spinning your wheels and finally move forward, stay with me. This is your wake-up call. Hard work is important. It builds discipline, resilience, and character, but on its own, it won't make you rich. You can work 16-hour days, skip vacations, and sacrifice your personal life, but if your effort isn't directed toward the right path, you'll stay stuck. Let me ask you something. If working harder was the answer, why are so many people still struggling? Why do some people seem to climb the financial ladder effortlessly while others work themselves to exhaustion and barely get by? The answer is simple. Most people work hard, but they don't work smart. Imagine two people rowing a boat. One rows furiously, putting in twice the effort, but they're going in circles. The other takes a moment to adjust their course, rows efficiently, and reaches their destination first. That's the difference between working harder and working smarter. Most people believe that if they just push harder, they'll eventually break through. But if you're pushing in the wrong direction, no amount of effort will save you. People think if they just do more hours, more side gigs, more hustle, they'll eventually succeed. But wealth isn't about how much you do. It's about what you create. A worker putting in long shifts for an hourly wage is rowing as hard as they can. Meanwhile, an investor, a business owner, or a strategist is charting their course before they even pick up an oar. Who do you think gets further? If you don't stop to ask yourself where your hard work is leading, you could spend years grinding with nothing to show for it. Now, let's talk about what really separates the wealthy from everyone else. Leverage. The wealthy don't trade time for money. They trade value for money. They don't just work hard, they work in ways that multiply their results. They don't rely on a paycheck, they build systems that generate income even when they're not working. The answer isn't to stop working hard, it's to make sure your effort is actually leading somewhere. So what should you do instead? Let's break it down. The difference between those who struggle financially and those who build wealth comes down to three things: value, leverage, and ownership. Most people focus only on effort, pushing harder, doing more, but wealth isn't built through effort alone, it's built through strategy. The world doesn't pay you for effort, it pays you for value. Ask yourself, are you solving problems or just performing tasks? People who create solutions, innovations, and impact build wealth. Wealthy people don't do everything themselves. They multiply their impact, they use systems, people, and technology to scale their income. Leverage is what allows someone to make millions while working fewer hours. If you work for someone else, you're building their dream, not yours. Wealth comes from owning assets, businesses, investments, intellectual property. The shift from worker to owner is the shift from struggling to thriving. Let's look at two people. One works 60 hours a week at a job, trading time for a paycheck. The other builds a business, invests in assets, and earns even when they're not working. Who is truly winning? The wealthy understand that financial success isn't about how much effort you put in, it's about how you use that effort. Think of wealth building like a game of chess. The average person plays checkers, moving one step at a time, reacting to problems. The wealthy play chess thinking 3 steps ahead, making moves that create long-term gains. Wealth isn't about making quick moves, it's about making smart moves. So, how do you apply this? The first step is to stop relying on labor and start focusing on strategy. This is where most people go wrong. They believe money follows effort, but money follows results. Effort without direction is wasted energy. The richest people aren't the hardest workers. They're the smartest thinkers. You can spend your life digging for gold with a spoon, or you can use the right tools. The wealthy don't rely on muscle. They rely on mechanisms. Stop measuring success by hours worked. Measure it by impact made. Learn how to multiply income sources instead of just adding more hours. Focus on long-term wealth-building strategies, not just short-term paychecks. You don't get rich by working harder. You get rich by working smarter. Now let's talk about what you need to do next. This is just the beginning. The next sections will break down exactly what you must do instead of just working harder. Stay with me because this is where everything changes. For years, we've been told that success is simple. Just work hard, stay dedicated, and eventually you'll get everything you want. But if that were true, wouldn't the hardest workers be the richest? Wouldn't the janitors, the factory workers, and the people pulling double shifts be the ones living in mansions? But they're not, because hard work alone isn't enough. Effort without direction is wasted energy. You can push yourself to the limit, sacrifice sleep, and grind every single day, but if you're not moving in the right direction, you'll never get anywhere. So why do billionaires work fewer hours than most people? Why do they take vacations while others are stuck working overtime? Because money doesn't reward effort. It rewards value and strategy. Think about this. Who grinds harder, a janitor working 12-hour shifts or a CEO making million-dollar deals in a few meetings? Who works longer hours, a construction worker on site from sunrise to sunset, or an investor making money from a portfolio that grows while they sleep? The difference isn't effort, it's leverage. The wealthy don't just work, they work in ways that multiply their results. That's the key. If you don't understand this, you'll spend your life stuck in the cycle of working harder, thinking success is just around the corner, only to realize that effort alone won't get you there. The real path to wealth isn't about how much you do, it's about how much impact your work actually creates. There are two types of work: labor-based work and leverage-based work. Labor-based work is what most people do. It's clocking in, putting in hours, and trading time for money. It's the path of effort without scale. It's what keeps people trapped in jobs believing they just need to work longer and harder to get ahead. Then there's leverage-based work. This is what the wealthy focus on. They don't trade time for money, they trade systems, skills, and strategies for money. They build things that make money without requiring constant effort. Hard work without leverage is like pushing a car uphill instead of driving it. Sure, you're moving forward, but it's exhausting, slow, and unsustainable. Meanwhile, the wealthy are using leverage like fuel, whether it's through technology, investments, or people, to move forward at a much faster pace with much less effort. Think of wealth building like a game of chess, not checkers. Most people play checkers, reacting to life one move at a time, focusing only on what's immediately in front of them. The wealthy play chess. They think ahead, position themselves for long-term wins, and make moves that put them in control. If you keep approaching wealth with a checkers mindset, focusing only on hard work, grinding out every single day, hoping for a break, you'll stay stuck in the same place. But if you start playing the game differently, if you start thinking about how to create wealth instead of just working for it, everything changes. Most people are stuck because they don't realize they're using the wrong approach. They work harder but never stop to question if their effort is actually leading to success. Imagine you're trying to fill a bucket with water, but the bucket has holes in it. No matter how fast you pour, no matter how much water you add, the bucket will never fill up. That's exactly what happens when you rely on effort without strategy. You can put in long hours, take on extra shifts, hustle on the weekends, but if you're not working on the right things, you'll never get ahead. You've probably seen this before. People who work incredibly hard, yet their bank accounts never grow. People who pick up multiple jobs, yet still struggle to cover their bills. The problem isn't effort, it's the direction of that effort. Wealth isn't built through sweat alone. It's built through smart decisions, investing, scaling, and understanding how to make money work for you instead of the other way around. This is the shift that separates those who struggle from those who succeed. The shift from effort-based thinking to strategic execution. It's about moving from how much can I work to how can I make my work multiply itself. It's about asking, what am I building that will continue to grow even when I stop working? Until you make that shift, you'll stay trapped in the same cycle, pouring all your energy into a system that was never designed to make you wealthy. Let me tell you something. If working harder hasn't changed your life yet, it won't suddenly start working now. If you've been grinding for years, pushing yourself to the limit, and you're still stuck in the same financial position, it's not because you aren't trying hard enough, it's because the game you're playing was never meant to make you wealthy. This is the harsh truth most people never realize. They keep doing more of what hasn't worked, thinking that eventually it'll pay off, but it doesn't. The wealthiest people don't work the hardest, they work the smartest. They focus on multiplying their efforts, not just adding more. They build businesses instead of just working jobs. They invest instead of just saving. They create instead of just consuming. So what should you do instead? How do you stop running in circles and finally start building real wealth? Let's break it down. because this is where everything starts to change. For years, people have been told that success comes from grinding harder than everyone else, that if you put in the hours, wake up earlier, and push yourself past exhaustion, success will eventually come. But if that were true, wouldn't the hardest workers be the wealthiest? Wouldn't the janitors, construction workers, and those working double shifts be the ones living in mansions? The truth is, success doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards results. Let me ask you something. If effort was the answer, why do the wealthiest people work fewer hours than the average person? Why are CEOs making millions while employees working longer hours struggle to pay their bills? Because success isn't about how much you push. It's about where you push. Imagine trying to break down a door by throwing yourself against it over and over again. You might bruise yourself, exhaust yourself, but the door won't budge. Now imagine finding the key, turning the handle, and walking right through. The difference isn't effort, it's strategy. The people who build wealth don't just work, they work smart. They create value, multiply their impact, and position themselves in ways that allow money to work for them, not the other way around. So how do you work smart? How do you position yourself to create wealth instead of just chasing it? It all comes down to three things: value, skills, and leverage. Most people believe that wealth is earned through time and effort. But real wealth isn't built by working long hours. It's built by solving problems. Think about the people who make the most money in the world. They are problem solvers, not just workers. They create businesses, services, or products that impact thousands, even millions of people. The world doesn't pay you for how much you work. It pays you for how much value you create. Take two people. One works 50 hours a week at an average job. The other spends time creating an online business that helps thousands of people solve a real problem. Who do you think will make more in the long run? Wealth isn't about what you do, it's about what you create. Imagine wealth building like a game of chess. Every move should put you in a better position. If you're only focused on short-term effort, working more shifts, putting in overtime, you're playing checkers while the wealthy are playing chess. They think ahead, plan their next move, and focus on long-term results. So how do you shift from being a task performer to a value creator? Start by asking yourself one simple question. What problem can I solve that people will pay for? Because when you stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a problem solver, that's when money starts flowing toward you instead of away from you. Most people stop learning after school. They pick one skill, get a job, and never expand beyond that. But the wealthy never stop stacking skills. They constantly improve, adapt, and learn new ways to increase their income. Let me ask you something. Are you learning skills that make money or just skills that keep you employed? There's a reason some people struggle their entire lives while others climb higher and higher. It's not just luck, it's skill stacking. There are 3 levels of skills. Low-income skills include physical labor, repetitive tasks, and jobs that can be easily replaced. These keep you stuck trading time for money. Mid-income skills are specialized skills like technical work or management that earn more but still depend on time. High-income skills include sales, marketing, investing, negotiation, and automation. These skills allow you to scale your income without relying on more hours. Think of skills like tools. If all you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. But if you have an entire toolbox, if you master multiple valuable skills, you can build anything. The wealthy don't rely on one skill. They stack multiple, combining them in ways that allow them to create new opportunities. So if you're stuck earning the same amount year after year, ask yourself, what new skill can I learn today that will make me more valuable tomorrow? Because the more skills you master, the more money chases you instead of you chasing money. Wealthy people don't do everything themselves. They build systems that do the work for them. If you're doing all the work yourself, you're already losing. There are 3 types of leverage that separate the rich from the struggling. People. The wealthy hire, outsource, and build teams so they don't have to do everything alone. They understand that time is limited, but people create multiplication of effort. Money. The wealthy invest. They use their money to buy assets, real estate, businesses, stocks that work for them even while they sleep. Technology. The wealthy use automation, software, AI, and digital products to scale income without scaling effort. Imagine carrying bricks by hand versus using a crane. One is slow and exhausting. The other moves tons with minimal effort. Leverage is the difference between struggling and thriving. You don't need to be rich to start using leverage. Start delegating small tasks. Start learning how money grows when invested. Start using technology to scale what you do. The sooner you start multiplying your results, the faster you'll escape the cycle of working harder without moving forward. Most people focus on what they do. The wealthy focus on what they create. Are you building something that grows without you, or are you just working to survive? This is the biggest mindset shift that separates those who struggle from those who build wealth. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like an owner. The wealthy don't just work for money. They create systems that make money for them. They invest in assets that multiply over time. They focus on long-term wealth, not just short-term paychecks. If you want financial freedom, you need to stop trading time for money and start creating value that multiplies. The key to wealth isn't grinding harder. It's about positioning yourself where money naturally flows towards you. So the question is, are you going to keep working harder, or are you going to start working smarter? Because once you make that shift, everything changes. Most people have been taught that if they just work harder, put in longer hours, and sacrifice more, success will come. But if that were true, wouldn't the hardest workers be the wealthiest? Wouldn't the people working overtime, taking on extra shifts, and never taking a break be the ones living in luxury? But they're not, because success isn't about how much you do, it's about what you build. Let's take two people. One works overtime every week, barely scraping by, while the other builds a business that makes money even while they sleep. Who wins in the long run? The difference isn't effort, it's strategy. Hard work without a plan is like running on a treadmill. You might be moving, but you're not actually going anywhere. If you want to build wealth, you need to stop thinking about effort and start thinking about impact. You need to stop focusing on how much you work and start focusing on how much value you create. Success doesn't reward sweat, it rewards strategy. The people who truly win are the ones who multiply their results instead of just adding more hours. The biggest mistake most people make is thinking that working longer means earning more. That's why they stay stuck. They're trading time for money instead of building something that makes money work for them. Imagine two people digging for gold. One has a spoon, the other has a machine. Who finds more gold? It's not about how much effort they put in, it's about the tools they use. This is why so many people struggle financially despite working hard. They're digging with spoons, while the wealthy are using machines. The people who win aren't the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who use leverage to make their work more effective. Relying on a paycheck alone keeps you trapped, because as long as your income depends on your time, your earnings will always be limited. You can only work so many hours. You can only push yourself so far. But what if you built something that made money for you, whether you were working or not? That's what the wealthy do. They don't just work for money. They create systems that make money for them. Think about this. Are you working for money, or is money working for you? Step one, multiply your income. Stop depending on one source most. People rely on only one source of income. A job, a single paycheck. But here's the truth, the wealthy never depend on just one income stream. They build multiple sources so that if one fails, they don't fall. Imagine your income like a faucet. If you only have one and it dries up, you're in trouble. But if you have several faucets, each bringing in money, you're financially secure no matter what happens. Here's the income pyramid. Active income. This is money you work for, like a job or freelance work. It's where most people stop. Semi-passive income, side hustles, online businesses, or anything that continues to make money even when you're not working constantly. Passive income, investments, royalties, and real estate. Money that grows without you having to put in daily effort. If you only have one source of income, you're putting yourself at risk. If something happens, if you lose your job, if your hours get cut, you have nothing to fall back on. The key to financial security is diversification. Wealthy people don't just earn money, they build multiple ways to earn. That way, when one income stream slows down, the others keep flowing. So here's the question, how many streams of income do you have right now? If the answer is one, it's time to start thinking about how you can create more. Step two, build assets that work for you. Even when you're not working, real wealth isn't built through labor. It's built through ownership. Think about the richest people in the world. They don't make money by working more hours. They make money by owning things that grow in value. Here are 3 powerful ways to build assets. Stocks and investments. Money that grows over time. Instead of just earning, you put your money to work. Businesses. Instead of working for someone else, you create something that earns beyond your time. Real estate. Property that makes money for you, whether through rental income or appreciation. If you don't own assets, you will always work for someone who does. Look at any successful person. They don't just earn, they own. They build things that keep making money even when they step away. And you don't need to be rich to start. You can invest with small amounts. You can start a business from scratch. The key isn't having a lot of money, it's having the mindset to start building something instead of just working for it. Because the sooner you own something, the sooner you stop relying on someone else to pay you. Step 3, shift from worker to owner. The mindset change that creates wealth. Employees work for money. Owners make money work for them. There's a reason some people climb the financial ladder while others stay stuck. It's not just skill, it's not just luck, it's how they think about money. The rich think differently. They look for opportunities, not just jobs. They build systems, not just skills. They focus on financial independence, not just stability. So ask yourself, are you building someone else's dream or your own? If you're spending your life working for a paycheck, you're building wealth for someone else. The person who owns the business, the person who owns the company, the person who signs your checks. But when you start thinking like an owner, everything changes. You don't just work for money, you figure out how to make money without always working. You don't just rely on one job, you build multiple sources of income so you're never dependent on one. And you stop looking for ways to work harder and start looking for ways to make your money multiply. You don't get rich by working harder, you get rich by working smarter. So the challenge is simple. Are you going to keep working harder hoping for a break, or are you going to start working smarter, building wealth that lasts? The choice is yours. But the sooner you make it, the sooner you change everything. Most people believe success is about grinding harder, putting in more hours, and outworking everyone else. But if that were true, the people working the longest shifts, the ones taking on multiple jobs, would be the wealthiest, yet they're not. Why? Because hard work alone isn't enough. Are you working towards wealth, or are you just working? Effort without direction is like running in circles. You can push yourself to exhaustion, but if you're not moving in the right direction, you'll never get ahead. Wealth isn't built through effort alone, it's built through strategic thinking. The biggest difference between the wealthy and everyone else starts in the mind. They don't just work harder, they think differently. They don't just chase paychecks, they create value. They don't just trade time for money, they build systems that generate wealth. If you want to break free from the endless cycle of working harder but never seeing real progress, the first step isn't working more, it's thinking differently. The wealthy don't just work for money, they make money work for them. Most people focus on how much they can earn in a paycheck. The wealthy focus on how much they can create beyond a paycheck. They think bigger. They look at the long game. The rich play chess while everyone else plays checkers. In checkers, every move is reactionary. It's about short-term survival. In chess, every move is calculated, planned ahead, and designed to create future advantages. That's exactly how wealth works. If you only think about your next paycheck, you're playing checkers. If you're thinking about building assets that will pay you for years, you're playing chess. Here's what separates the wealthy from the rest. They focus on value, not just effort. Hard work alone doesn't build wealth, creating something valuable does. They take calculated risks, not blind chances. They know risk is part of the game, but they don't jump in without a plan. They build systems that generate income instead of just relying on a paycheck. They understand that if they stop working, their money shouldn't stop coming in. So how do you shift your thinking today? Start asking different questions. Instead of how can I work more, ask how can I create something that pays me long term. Instead of how much can I earn, ask how much can I own. When you change the questions you ask yourself, you start getting the answers that lead to real wealth. Most people are trained from an early age to think like employees, not wealth builders. Go to school, get a job, work hard, retire. That's the cycle. But if that formula worked, wouldn't everyone be wealthy? Are you trading time for money, or are you creating long-term value? When you trade time for money, you cap your income. There are only so many hours in a day, but when you create something that works for you, you break free from that limitation. Breaking free from the paycheck mindset means shifting from survival mode to wealth-building mode. Stop thinking in terms of hours worked. Start thinking in terms of impact made. If you can create something once that people will pay for over and over, you've moved beyond just earning, you've built wealth. Learn to spot opportunities instead of waiting for promotion. The wealthy don't wait for someone to give them a raise, they create their own income sources. Understand the difference between income and wealth building. Income is what you make today, wealth is what keeps making money for you even when you stop working. Wealthy people don't wait for opportunities, they create them. And that's what you have to start doing. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to take a step forward. Start looking at ways to make your work multiply instead of just adding more hours. The biggest shift you need to make is this. Wealthy people don't focus on doing more tasks. They focus on building better systems. A farmer who plants one seed at a time will never grow a forest. The same is true for wealth. If you're doing everything manually, relying only on your own effort, you'll always be limited. But when you create systems, when you automate, delegate, and scale, you go from working harder to working smarter. The wealthy invest in scalable strategies. Instead of relying on one income stream, they build multiple. Automation, instead of doing everything themselves, they use tools and systems that do the work for them. Delegation, instead of trying to control every little thing, they find people who can help them grow. You can start applying this today. Look at what you do daily. What can be automated? What can be outsourced? What can be turned into something that scales? The moment you stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a builder, everything changes. Hard work alone won't make you wealthy. Only the right strategy will. You've seen it yourself. People grinding day and night, sacrificing weekends, pulling overtime shifts, doing everything they can just to stay afloat. If working non-stop was the answer, why are so many hardworking people still struggling? The truth is, wealth isn't about how much effort you put in, it's about what you do with that effort. You can pour all your energy into the wrong things and never see progress. But the moment you shift from working harder to working smarter, everything changes. It's time to stop running in circles. It's time to start using your effort in ways that multiply, not just add. Here's exactly how to do it. Step 1, stop trading time for money. Start building wealth. If your income stops the moment you stop working, you're trapped in a financial cycle. It doesn't matter how much you make. If your money is tied to your time, you will never be truly free. Relying only on a paycheck is like running on a treadmill. You're always moving, but you're never really getting anywhere. The moment you stop, everything stops. That's why so many people work their entire lives only to retire with barely enough to survive. So how do you escape? Invest in assets that grow over time. Instead of just spending money, put it into things that increase in value. Stocks, real estate, businesses. Build income streams that pay you even when you're not working. The wealthy don't just earn money, they create ways for money to flow to them whether they're working or not. Scale your income by leveraging systems, not just effort. Instead of trying to do everything yourself, find ways to make your work multiply through technology, investments, and people. So ask yourself, are you building wealth or are you just paying bills? Because if your income only lasts as long as your effort, it's time for a change. Step 2, learn high-value skills. The fastest way to increase your earning power skills determine your income, not just effort. 2 people can put in the same number of hours, but one earns 10 times more because they have the right skills. Are you learning skills that make money or just skills that keep you employed? There are certain skills that separate those who struggle from those who thrive. If you want to increase your earning power, these are the skills you need. Sales. The ability to persuade and influence. Everything in life is about sales. Whether it's selling a product, selling an idea, or even selling yourself in a job interview, those who master persuasion will always be ahead. Marketing. The power to reach and impact more people. The best product in the world is useless if no one knows about it. Learning how to market, whether through social media, advertising, or branding, will set you apart. Investing, making money work for you instead of the other way around. Those who understand money don't just earn it, they grow it. Learning how to invest means your money starts working even when you're not. Automation, scaling results without increasing effort. The most successful people don't work harder. They set up systems that allow their work to keep running without them. If you want to earn more, first learn more. And don't say, I don't know where to start. You start today with books, online courses, mentors. There is more free information available now than ever before. The only thing stopping you from leveling up is you. Step 3, leverage technology and people. Multiply your results, not your workload. The wealthy don't do everything alone. They build systems that do the work for them. The truth is, you will always be limited if you try to do everything yourself. But when you use leverage, your results start to multiply. Here's how leverage works. Technology. Automate processes, scale online businesses, create digital assets. The internet has made it easier than ever to set up systems that make money for you 24/7. People outsource tasks, delegate responsibilities, build a team. If you're spending hours doing things that don't grow your income, you're wasting valuable time. Learn to hand off tasks that someone else can do, so you can focus on what truly matters. You can carry buckets of water every day, or you can build a pipeline that delivers it for you. One requires effort forever. The other creates lasting freedom. And the best part, you don't need to be rich to start using leverage. You can begin small. Automate simple tasks. Delegate small responsibilities. The goal is to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a builder. Step 4. Master financial literacy. Control money before it controls you. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and grow. You can earn 6 figures and still be broke if you don't understand how to manage money. Here's the formula for financial success. Learn how to manage cash flow. Track what's coming in and what's going out. Don't let money slip away unnoticed. Invest wisely to multiply money. Saving alone won't build wealth. If your money isn't growing, you're losing. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Focus on wealth, not appearances. Most people upgrade their lifestyle the moment they start making more money. The rich stay rich by living below their means and investing the difference. If you don't learn to manage money, you'll always be working for someone who does. And if you think you're bad with money, fix it now. Read books, watch videos, learn how to make your money work for you instead of constantly working for money. Knowing what to do is useless if you don't apply. The truth is, most people already know what they need to do, but knowing and doing are two different things. So let me ask you, which of these steps are you actually doing right now? And which ones have you been ignoring? Because nothing changes until you change. If you want to break free from the cycle, start implementing these now. Today, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for permission. Stop watching others succeed and start building your own future, because no one is coming to save you. Your success is in your hands. Hard work is important. It builds discipline. It builds character. But by itself, it won't make you wealthy. It won't give you financial freedom. It won't create the life you truly want. If working harder was the key, wouldn't everyone be rich by now? Wouldn't the people working double shifts, pulling overtime, and never taking a day off be the ones with financial security? But they're not, because you weren't put on this earth just to work, pay bills, and die. Wealth isn't about how much you grind. It's about how you build. It's about what you do with your time, your skills, and your resources. Some people work for decades and barely scrape by. Others work for a few years, make the right moves, and never have to worry about money again. The difference? It's not effort, it's strategy. You have to stop thinking that effort alone is the answer. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. Right now you have 2 choices. You can keep doing what you've always done, working harder, hoping for a raise, waiting for the right moment. Or you can make the shift and start working smarter. 2 people can put in the same effort, the same long hours, but one ends up stuck while the other builds wealth. Why? Because one invests wisely, makes smart financial moves, and builds something that grows beyond their time. The other just works, spends, and repeats the cycle. You can keep running on a hamster wheel, or you can build the ladder that gets you out. The truth is, hard work alone will keep you working forever, but smart wealth building, that will set you free. So what will you choose? Will you keep struggling, hoping that working harder will eventually lead to a breakthrough? Or will you shift your mindset, start making the right moves, and build something that lasts? The decision is in your hands. Excuses won't change your financial situation. More time won't change it either. The only thing that will change your future is the actions you take today. Your future wealth depends on the choices you make right now, not tomorrow, not next year, now. If you're serious about breaking free from the cycle, you have to start taking steps today, not after you feel ready. Not when things slow down, not when you get one more raise. Today, because waiting doesn't create success, action does. If you're ready to change your financial future, stop grinding aimlessly and start building strategically. Stop spending all your time working for money and start figuring out how to make money work for you. The next move is yours. What will you do with it?